Diyos marhay na aldaw sa indugabos ng mga parokyalista, sa indang mga magurang, sa mga maestro asin maestra, sa mga benefactors asin katuod, kan sa tuyang padangat na NAGA Parochial School. Ako si Padre Dario Echipare, ang presenting school director kan NPS sa panahon na ini, na sa tuyang ginigirumdum nin may dakulang kaugmahan asin pagpapasalamat ang sa tuyang ika-75 taon din pagmukna bilang nangungurog na katolikong eskwelahan para sa mga kakian digdi sa siyudad Canaga. As we celebrate this momentous occasion, we invite you all to join in our celebration by looking back to the many years that we have been blessed by the gift of Catholic education through the NAGA Parochial School, whose guiding mission has been the call of our Lord Jesus Christ to let the children come to Him, and through Him and with Him, we form our children and fashion our future with the light of truth, with the gift of friendship, and God's saving grace. Sa tuyang pagsalingoy, dahil kita malingaw nan anuman na kinaadman o an futuro, manghihimo sana kung kita magkakaborunyog sa pagtubod. Magiging marigon sa paglaom, asin dayupot sa tuyang pagkamuot, nagikan sa pinakamarhay na paratukdo, si Jesucristo sa tuyang Diyos. Ibahanin do kami sa pagsalingoy sa nakaagi, anduyugan kami sa mga selebrasyon kan presente, asin sarabay niya tong himuon, ang futurong urog na magayon, makahulugan, asin maugma para sa tuyang mga kaakian. In all these years, and in the coming days, we shall make this video as a testament of God's undying love for all of us, which nurtures us, preserves us, and make our Christian lives worth sharing, like this video, which we hope will reach you via social media accounts and the comforts of your homes and offices. And it is my fervent prayers that you will continue to support our NAGA Parochial School.
In this most holy year of Saint Joseph, and in celebration of the 500 years of the gift of faith in our country, we ask you to look back at the humble beginning of the NAGA Parochial School, a living proof of God's merciful love to His people in this part of the world. In this most challenging time of the pandemic, we remember our humble beginnings, and in the pages of our history, truly, we shall see the hands of God and in us loving care through all these years, nurturing us, preserving us, and strengthening us in sharing the light of Catholic education. NAGA, the seat of the Diocese of Cáceres, considered to be one of the first 4 Catholic dioceses in the Philippines, had suffered enormous destruction during the 3 terrible years of Japanese occupation. Many people have died and suffered, particularly the children and the youth, who are the soul of the nation, the future of the Church. But rise we must, and forward we must go. So in July 1947, after the most terrible war in the Pacific, that has almost destroyed our spirits, armed with faith and love, NAGA, like the mythical eagle of St. John the Evangelist, our patron saint, would soar high and rise above the ruins. Established by the Most Reverend Pedro P. Santos, NPS joins the other Catholic schools he founded in the region. These educational institutions, like the NAGA Parochial School, have become pioneering agents of social transformation and reforms. The post-war years will be marked with renewed friendships and optimisms to bring a fallen nation back to its feet again. In 1951, 3 years after the school's establishment, the Diocese of Cáceres was elevated into an archdiocese, with our bishop founder as the first Archbishop of Cáceres. With this recognition, the NAGA Parochial School has to live up with the singular honor of being one of the strongholds of Catholic mission and education in this part of the world. Among the school administrators, we remember how Monsignor Porfirio Ramin, our first NAGA Parochial Director, together with Mr. Benedicto Naz and Mr. Leoncio de la Torre, the first and second school principals, nurtured the seeds of quality Catholic education that has to become the living legacy of our school. In the same manner, we remember the longest-serving director in our continuing history, Monsignor Nicanor Belleza, with his affable manners and a true pastoral care for the cathedral and for the parochial school. He guided a generation of parochialistas born and educated during the period of peacetime and restoration of the 50s and the 60s up, the two succeeding decades marked by the fast-changing technology and even the new reforms within the Catholic Church up to the crucial years of civic unrest of the 70s up to the early part of the 80s. With Monsignor Belleza, we remember how he and the three school principals, Mr. Buenaventura C. Parco, Mr. Juan Badong V, and Dr. Lydia Tomatorgo Gowingo, and the many teachers and staff have preserved our Catholic values and virtues. In 1983, the NAGA Parochial School is the first parochial school in the country to be given an accreditation by the Philippine Accrediting Association of Schools, Colleges, and Universities, or the PAASCO. This accreditation serves as a barometer for everyone to continue to come up with the best educational practices that responds to the sign and calls of the times. With the coming of a new Archbishop in 1983, in the person of Most Reverend Leonardo Z. Legaspi, OPDD, the NAGA Parochial School will gain her new school director, who, like Monsignor Belleza, will continue to make the school prosper and pave the way for new developments in education. Monsignor Jaime M. San Andres, a member of NPS Batch 1950, was the school's first alumnus school director, and through his silent manner and fatherly care, NPS will continue to reap the fruits of the past labors. During the term of Monsignor San Andres, Mrs. Flavel Contreras Favorial served as the school principal from 1984 to 2005. In 2007, NPS celebrated the Golden Foundation Anniversary, marking the many significant events and recognizing the alumni and teachers who have reverberated and lived up with the call of Jesus to let the little children come to Him. After Monsignor San Andres, another alumnus was appointed as the new school director, in Father Rex Andrew C. Alarcon, NPS Batch 83, who served as secretary to Archbishop Legaspi, and the church historian of the Archdiocese of Cáceres and a faculty of the Holy Rosary Minor and Major Seminaries, led the NAGA Parochial School from 2007 up to 2019, prior to his appointment as the new bishop of the Diocese of Taet. Bishop Alarcon's gift of episcopacy is a living testimony of how the NPS continues to share in the mission of the Catholic Church, alongside with 4 other alumni who are now serving as church leaders, namely Archbishop Adolfo Tito C. Iliana, newly appointed Apostolic Nuncio to Israel, Archbishop Gilbert A. Garcera, Archbishop of Lipa, Bishop Jose R. Rojas, Bishop of Libmanan, and Most Reverend Jose Alan Dialogo, Bishop of Sorsogon, and the many parochialistas who have become priests and members of religious orders. The other outstanding alumni of the school are doctors, military personnel, lawyers, artists, writers, cultural workers, digital animators, businessmen, teachers, and public servants are considered as NPS share to our living and changing communities. The school that have taught them prayers and love for the church remains the same school that asks her students to be good and worthy citizens of a nation and of the world. The NAGA Parochial School, the mother of their souls, the alma mater, is an ever-giving institution that shares her children to all of us. This call to share remains at the heart of the NAGA Parochial School as it opens its junior high school department, concurrently opening its doors to female students in 2012. With the reforms of the K-12 and the mother tongue-based language policy program, the NAGA Parochial School, with the present leadership of Father Dario I. Echipare and Ms. Rosario Bermundo Olalia as school principal, it continues to live up to its mission. NAGA Parochial School has a special education program, and coupled with the state-of-the-art and new facilities and roster of teaching faculties who are highly trained in their respective fields, devout in the mission of the Church, and generous in their teaching vocation of ensuring a quality Catholic education to all the students. As we look back into our past and locate God's living presence in our lives, we remember the NAGA Parochial School and her history. True enough, the school's main building has always been integral to the cathedral, the mother church of the region. Symbolically, a school by the cathedral has enriched the meaning and experience of every parochialista who passed through the gates of their beloved alma mater. We remember the school buildings, the quadricentennial arch, the grotto, the stairs and corridors, the nooks, the little gardens. All these make a great difference now in the time of the pandemic, that we have moved from these physical spaces into the digital classrooms due to this emergency health situation. However, we will not waver in our faith and trust. We at 75 must come up with firmer resolve that we will continue to bring God's kingdom and love to the children and young people entrusted to the care of NAGA Parochial School. We survived the war and the passing of years that have been marked with social unrest and upheavals, and economic and political distress. We will definitely come up stronger, humble, and always grateful. The NAGA Parochial School is one of the living testimonies of God's continuing love to the Church of Bicol and the world. Nurtured by this same love, it nourishes. Preserved by the Church living traditions, it perseveres. And in sharing the gift of good Catholic education. It shines at 75.